Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here. Today I'm going to be showing you on how to install this front fork frame slider and then a rear swing arm frame slider. The reason I bought these in red is because honestly guys, I'm actually going to paint this part black. I really only wanted the red accents, and as you could see, they poke through this plastic piece. So that's mainly what I want. I didn't really care too much on having all of this in red. They have a few different colors. If you like this kind of anodized, it is aluminum and it's an anodized color. If you like this, you know, just stick with it. But for me personally, I just wanted these parts to be accented and to show off through the bike because I didn't want too much blinging colors. Let me show you when I pull this screw out. It has a little cap on it. That. And then on this part, actually slides right off. As you can see, here's the plastic piece. So if you were to go down, this part would get scratched up. And you can see there's little holes in it. Therefore, this is the metal that's behind it, and it actually shows the color of this piece. And it's actually has some weight to it. I wouldn't say it's too crazy heavy, but it does have some weight on for these parts. Pretty good quality, I would say. Not bad. They are huge though. These are pretty big. They weren't. I wasn't expecting them to be this big compared to something like this. Now this is not for the forks, but as you can see, this is a lot smaller compared to this in diameter. I would say if I were to get a ruler and measure this in inches, I would say it's probably a good, I would say 2 to 3 inches in circumference wide, compared to this one being maybe 1.5 inches in circumference. So differences. So because this was a swing arm spool, but I just wanted to show you in comparison to this other one. Like I said, these guys are pretty big. Another comparison I could give you, here's a spray can cap, and you could see on difference how big this one is. If I were to put it like so, on the spray can, it pretty much equals just a shy short from the spray can top, as you can see. If I would have known that they're going to be that big, I may have not have ordered them. I would have preferred something a little bit smaller on the bike, but it is what it is. And if it's something that you don't want to get on your bike because of the size, then that's why I'm showing this video. But if you like this kind, I'll have a link in the description below on where I purchased these from. And like I said guys, I kind of like them because it just has a different design for the face of it. Now for as far as installation goes, I'm going to go ahead and show you the front. Starting off with the front. So the tools that you're going to need for this particular job is going to be a 5mm Allen key and some thread lock. Okay, and as you will see, I've already gone ahead and spray painted the sides of these black. As you can see now with this black, pretty much you won't really see them on the bike as if they were when they were red. They were really sticking out when they were red. And like I only wanted this part over here to be the red accents, and like with this center probably the red accent. So as you can see, all that red, and then over here black. Now if you got the other colors, you could do the same thing. If you don't want it to all be blinging out with the color, and you want just that part to be black and just this part to be accented with the color of your choice. So if I remove this black cover, as you can see, that's the red. This kind of covers that part just to give you some accents of red. And that's all gonna be black, is all blacked out. So I already gone ahead and spray painted that part black. Now next what I wanted to show you was instead of using thread lock on the threads of this screw, I actually decided to go with some thread seal tape. Now it's pretty much, when you remove this part, I'll have a link in the description below on where I purchased this thread seal tape. It's a very like thin piece of tape. It's not sticky on any of the sides, it's just really thin. So what you want to do is just going to grab a piece and then put it on the bolt, and then try to like press on it, or as you're going with it. So we can stick it out a little bit again. Alright, so right here, wrap it, and then once you get that first wrap, then you're able to like really press on it hard. And as you can see, as I'm pressing on it, you can see the grooves of poking through the thread tape. So you just want to kind of spiral it down, at the same time giving it a little bit of tension while threading this tape onto the bolt. Now what this is going to do is going to really give a good seal when you put this onto the pipe over there, onto the tube actually right over here. Since it is a threaded tube, as you can see inside, so this will give a good seal, plus it'll keep it from the bolt from vibrating loose when riding, because that's pretty much what happened with my other one, is that even though I had the thread lock on it, somehow the bolt vibrated loose and I lost my original fork sliders. So with this method, there's no way and chance that this bolt is going to vibrate loose from this fitting here. All right, so now that we got I've already threaded the rest of these, so now that we got those threaded, let's go onto the bike and install it. Okay, now when we go to the bike, you're going to notice that it's going to have two pipes, or a rod, I would say. One's going to be longer than the other. The smaller rod is going to be the front, the longer rod is going to be the back. So I would say let's go with the front first, and let's go to the bike and install it. Now before we go over to the front of the bike, I wanted to pinpoint this, that you're going to notice that 3 of them are going to have long bolts, and then you're going to have one that's going to have a short bolt. Now these two, doesn't matter for the long ones, really the short one. You want to make sure that the short one goes to the front. Now this one's going to go to pretty much the side where it's going to go into, so you want to make sure you tighten this one onto the threaded rod before you insert it into the axle. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera in this perspective so that way you can see what I'm doing on the bike. So if you notice when you put the threaded rod, if you try to put it in from this inside, you're not going to be able to, because for some reason the diameter on for the wheel or the axle it seems to taper to this side. So you're not going to be able to put the rod through here, but you will be able to put it through this side. So if you were to put it through this side, I don't recommend putting it without the screw. It actually will go all the way in. So before we do that, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and put the threaded screw piece right here like so. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thread it on the screw. So just go ahead and pretty much thread it as much as you can from here, and then put your tool and put it over here on this side. So we're going to grab our 5mm Allen key. We're going to grab our rod. We already threaded somewhat in there, and then just go ahead and thread the rest of it in. So try to thread in as much as you can, but not all the way, because we want to make sure that we have enough of this tube on this side so we could put in our screw on this side. So I think I'm going to go ahead with this much. As you can see, this part's a little bit of weight sticking out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rod through. And I could see, as you could see, that over here on the silver part, the bolt is still sticking out. So that means I need to go ahead and thread it in some more, because you want to make sure that that bolt right there is going to be flush. So if it was in, you wouldn't be able to see the bolt at all. So, but because there is it stops at the other end, we need to make sure that this bolt is completely flushed down. So we want to make sure it looks like this from that side. So right now when you saw it, it was sticking out like so. So it would have been like this. So you want to make sure that when you put it, it's down flush like that. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this bolt a little bit more. Okay, once you get it on there and thread it, you want to make sure you thread it all the way in until you can't thread it in anymore. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to go and install it. So go ahead and slide that in until it bottoms out. Okay, once you get that part in, now you grab the other one with pretty much the longer bolt, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten it in from this side. So we're just going to go ahead and put this part in, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten down the bolt. Alright, once you get it, go ahead and get it tight. As you can see, it's really on there and it's nice and tight. You want to make sure that it's tight on both ends. So that's pretty much how it looks like. And as you can see now that they're black, you know, it doesn't catch your eye. If you were to pull up into a parking lot, no one's really going to pinpoint them and look at them and think you're crazy. So having something like that where it's kind of blacked out, you know, it looks a lot better in my opinion. So now that we got the front ones already in, let's go ahead and let's do the back ones. Okay, so now you want to do the same thing you did with the front. Is we're going to go ahead and thread one end in onto the threaded rod, and then we're going to insert it into the axle. Okay, so now that we already got one side already threaded in, and on this point it really doesn't matter if you go from the left to the right, because on both sides it's evenly, it's not tapered inside. So just for the sake of it, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in from this side. Just go ahead and slide that in. Make sure it goes all the way until it stops. Once it stops, then you want to go in ahead and on this side put in your bolts, and then go ahead and tighten down for both sides. Alright, for the back end tire, actually I found out that you definitely don't want to bottom out this bolt, just because it seems like this threaded rod does not go all the way through enough for this other one to catch. So you're just going to have to go little by little on unscrewing the bolts, but make sure you don't unscrew it all the way, because then if you have too little here, it won't give enough support on holding the slider on the other end. So I have it pretty much borderline of where the edge of this one would be. So, and I think this is enough for it to catch on the other side. So now that I'm going to go ahead and put that in, so I'm going to slide that through. And pretty much what you want to do is, after you put that side in, just look down the barrel of the axle on through this side, and if you see the threaded rod, you should be fine on putting this in. So let's see, I think this should work for me, but again, you want to make sure for your bike and see for your installation. So I think it's catching. I could feel it on the other end that it's turning a little bit. So I think I may have to unscrew it just a little bit more, but just keep working with it and just find a good medium, so that way both screws on each side could catch and you're able to tighten it. Alright, after going back and forth with it, I think I finally got it. As you could see, it's under securely on this side and on that side, and it's looking pretty good actually. So I get a better shot for you guys. There you go on that side. And then again on this side. Now let me show you the sides of it on how it looks like from the side perspective. Alright, so there it is. So now you got the nice red accents, just poking a little bit right there as I want it, while the rest of it is remain black. Now let's go over to the front. Same thing, all nice and black on the outside, but when you look down the center, got the nice accents of red. Alright guys, well that pretty much concludes the installation of the fork and rear swing arm sliders. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell, that way you guys are up to date with my latest videos, and thanks for watching.